Hey guys, hey. So we are live with day one of our live workshop. I went live a second ago, so if you caught that, I'm so sorry. So here we are live. I'm going to give everybody a moment to join so I can go over some housekeeping stuff. I see Alicia has joined, so that's great. I wanted to make sure that I was live and in the right group. As soon as I started talking about training, I thought, okay, I'm in the right place. So yes, I am excited to be here. Let me give you some housekeeping stuff for the week. So we are going live every day this week at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. If you cannot join live every day, that is perfectly fine. If you have registered for the workshop, you are going to get an email with replay links. So I want you to know that you are going to be taken care of. I am going to honor your time and your commitment here, and thank you for joining me. But here, I've got my agenda here. And I want to give you kind of a lineup of what we're going to be going through. So today I'm going to talk about just some general truths around our health and wellness and how having a gut-centered focus can really enhance our ability to take care of ourselves. We're going to go on day 2 through ideal weight and what that looks like as we combat those fad diets and really look at what our body wants as nourishment and nutrition. Sometimes we feel like spinach can be a really hard thing for my body and be a reactive factor for me. But yet spinach is something that we consider to be extremely healthy. So I want to teach you and show you how we can combat those fad diets and drop weight very, very quick. Food sensitivities, allergies, and asthma. Y'all, we are in a world where those things are rampant right now, okay? Like huge in our world. You can ask yourself, like, why is it getting worse? And I'm going to go over that, okay? We see it in our children, we see it in our adults, we see it all across the board. Okay, Thursday, day 4, where are my women and hormone stability? Hello. Okay, so it's not absent for men, and a lot of times that can be a hidden factor for men with Crohn's, colitis, or GI issues, even in women, but I'm just pinpointing those men with underlying potential thyroid conditions and hormones. Do not ignore those if I have a guy here on the call, okay? So what happens with hormone stability a lot of times is improper detoxification. So along with that topic, I'm going to talk about proper detoxification and how to love your liver. All right, so fatty liver, liver detoxification, any of those where we want to make sure our body cleanses appropriately. And then on Friday, let's talk about our lifestyle, okay? How are we sleeping? How are we moving? If you are not going to sleep well or sleeping well throughout the night, that day is for you, okay? But all 5 days merge together. And let me tell you, it's going to be a blessing, all right, to attend or watch the replays on all 5 days. I'm going to switch over. So, okay, use the comment section below to help give, if you have questions and answers. This is a live workshop, okay? The more you engage, the more you put in, the more you're gonna get out. I want you to be here with me, all right? I am here to serve you. I am here to help you stop guessing about your health care, your health and wellness. Maybe you wonder, why do I wake up at 2 o'clock every morning, all right, and I can't go back to sleep? That is something that is really key. It's very common in my clients, to be honest with you, even if they don't think it's a problem, where we can help that circadian rhythm to help you sleep through the night. Okay, we need that sleep cycle to be good, but stop guessing as to why that occurs. We're going to talk about histamines with that topic. Okay, and histamines is a topic that I hear people are like, I'm just now hearing that word, but we've all heard of antihistamines. All right, so we're going to put those puzzle pieces together. That's what I like to do, help you, allow you to stop wondering what may be holding you back. All right, holding you back from feeling your absolute best. I am a very huge advocate of getting outside, playing with my children, and just living life to the fullest. I'm going to give you a little bit of my background that might like clue you in as to why I just do not feel like there's a day to waste. You need to feel your best every single day. And the days that you don't, I want you to be able to look back and go, yeah, that's why. Okay, so stop guessing. Really put the pieces together. I want you to be full of energy, full of that motivation, and full of complete health. All right, with that again comes sleep, energy, all those things. All right, so the other thing I want to do is to just again invite you to invite your friends. One thing with engagement and these health and wellness topics is you can feel so alone at times, like by yourself, not speaking the same language as people around you. I know for a while in our health and wellness journey, I just felt isolated. Like even if I wasn't isolated, I felt judged. And it's easier to invite your friends. So please invite them. Allow this to be a transforming experience for you and people around you. I'm going to hold your hand and navigate you through some of those deep, deep truths that have left you questioned, all right? They're eye-opening realities about your health. We want to navigate those and stop guessing as to what's going on in our body. So drop an emoji down below, drop a question in the comment section as we go. Let me know, like, what are those aha moments? Like, give the hand raise, okay? Those aha moments are just the light bulbs going off. They're letting us know, golly, I hadn't really ever thought about that. But that's something that you need to, like, clue in on, maybe research, dig deeper. And with that, I'm going to offer, I offer a free 30-minute consult to anybody and everybody. You're going to get emails with that link. I'll post that in the comments below as well. But if you have that aha moment, that light bulb moment that goes off, please book that call. We get so much done. You don't think that you can get a lot done in 20 or 30 minutes, but we really do. And just to get to know you better, I would love that. So just to grow and focus on yourself, dive deeper in that connection. So again, this is 1 hour each day. All right. And sometimes that seems like a lot. All right. And that's why I see people on live. Thank you so much, because it takes time out of your day. But let me ask you this, like if you knew that 1 hour per day this week, so 5 hours, could be the catalyst to change of your health, would you do it? Would it be worth it? Would it be worth it for you? Okay, to show up, to put that time in, and to just transform your health and wellness. I know when I was searching for answers, I was like digging into every single thing. I have driven to Chicago for seminars to sit in a workshop for 3 or 4 days straight. I've driven to Birmingham. I have like gotten consultations with nurses. But when you're at that point of your health needs to change, you will invest in you, all right? And you're worth it. So please come back. Even if you can't join live each day, again, you're going to get the replay links. So let this be a catalyst of change for you. All right, so whether you're here to learn about your health concerns or to simply gain that deeper connection with like-minded people, come back. Be in this group, all right? This group is not just for this week. This group is a group to allow us to extend relationships, to make those connections, to help us find people that we can communicate with, to dig deeper in our health and wellness. I'm here all the time. I'm in the group constantly looking for questions. looking to see how I can serve you. So please use this group as an open mechanism as you're ready to change your health and wellness and get answers. So to start off with, I want to thank a few people. First and foremost, I want to thank my parents. All right, my parents have really and truly set this journey for me. It's not been easy, okay? My mother was diagnosed with cancer when I was 4. There is nothing easy about it. She battled for 35 years, but I can look back and there are so many things I can be thankful for other than just taking a deep breath. And because it's not hard. Maybe you're going through something difficult right now, and I want to offer you grace and understanding. Education does that for us. The more we learn about a situation, the more we decrease anxiety. Okay, it is very common for us to be curious about what's going on, but what creates anxiety is a lack of understanding. All right, so this is why I want to invite you to join me. This is why I have gone into coaching, is to allow people to gain that understanding, to decrease anxiety and depression around healthcare, disease, and symptoms that you think are going to be there forever. They're not. They don't have to be. Okay, so my mother, oh goodness, huge cornerstone in my life. When she was diagnosed with cancer, I remember her immediately pulling margarine and hot dogs out of our house. She immediately stopped putting candy and all the sugar-filled snacks in our stockings, in our lunches. We were that different family. All right, guys, this was 40 years ago, okay? We think we're in a health and wellness movement now, and that's great, but that was not the case then. But when she was diagnosed, she was smart enough, and I thank her wholeheartedly for starting that journey. She was a truth seeker, all right? She was very holistic in mindset, but very strong in her beliefs of being an individual. Having that nutrition focus, having the strength to make those individual decisions instead of feeling like you have to fit in and eat the Little Debbie cakes that everybody else is eating. She had that willpower. That's where I was trying to go earlier. What are you struggling with right now? Did any of that hit a nerve where you're like, God, I wish I could have that strength and be able to focus and move forward? And sometimes the underlying triggers of what we're putting in our bodies is what's holding us back from even being able to have that focus. She also pulled the GMO foods and the processed foods. We're surrounded by it, okay? And if we look at the epidemic of disease that we're in right now, we can go back in history and look at all of those processed foods and GMO foods being introduced into our homes. So be the gatekeeper of your house, all right? Many times it's the women, but men, you can also be the gatekeeper of the house. Whoever's buying the groceries, whoever's buying the cleaning products, give that person freedom. Give them freedom and give them grace to make those decisions based on science and based on research to bring the proper items into your home. It goes down to soap, cleaning products, shampoo, conditioner. We're going to talk about all of it. All right. All of it matters. It's not one thing. It's not a get quick fix. There's no fad diets. We're going to talk about that on Wednesday. Okay. Or Fad Tuesday. I knew I had that wrong. All right. So stay with me. Bear with me as we go through and get to the bottom of those truths around what is in our healthcare system, what is on the commercials, what has been taught to us, what has really formed our mindset around nutrition and chemicals and toxins and being able to all these things that can't properly get detoxed through our body. Methylation is huge. We think about our bodies being able to have a proper metabolism. all right? But inside our cells and inside our detoxification pathways, that terminology methylation is almost like that metabolism. We want it to move. We want it to work properly, the same way we want our body to be able to move and work properly. So you must, like in being the gatekeeper, you must guard your eyes, your heart, and your mouth, all right? The 3 areas of your life that can make or break your energy cycle. All right, let's talk about those for a second. So your eyes, your heart, and your mouth. All right, they're strong and they're powerful. But what we see scrolling through our phones constantly can change your mood, change your energy, and then lead you to what is going to be put in your mouth. Like, are you stressing over something? Are you going to make a good decision? Are you going to be able to have that clarity and focus around making decisions? So guide those, okay? The little song, like, be careful little one, what you see with your eyes, or whatever, one of those. I'm thinking of it, but you definitely don't want me to sing. So, but you want to be that gatekeeper, right? The other person I want to thank is my dad. My dad, he was a supplement seeker. I mean, there's no other word for it. He still is. If it says it's going to increase energy, then let's try it. Okay. And so really just gave me that idea of there can be something better. All right. There's a better way. We can increase our energy. He was, huge and running and getting out there and running marathons and just being active, and still to this day, very active man. But somewhere in the middle is where I'd like to consider myself. I don't love taking a ton of pills. So like when people think of functional medicine, they're like, oh, they're just going to do a lot of testing and give you a lot of like supplements and pills and all these things. Well, one reason I went into functional nutrition is because, yes, like I absolutely love testing. I love getting answers. I think guessing is like the hugest waste of time, to be guessing with incorrect testing or incorrect answers. And we're going to go through that some. Like, we went through a horrible experience of not being able to get accurate answers around healthcare. Sometimes that Western medicine system is broken, and we need a little bit more assistance in being able to look at the body as a whole. But I don't like filling our bodies with a lot of supplements either. So that nutrition factor and being able to have all 3 of those together to where you can nourish your body from the inside out is really, really key. One thing I will tell you is I also do not believe that we can live supplement free. All right, so I like to tell you like where I am, because I want to make sure this connection is full of truth, full of energy, and that we can like understand that same page. Even if we don't agree 100%, we can communicate about it. I can teach you how to be your own patient advocate and make those decisions. That is really my heart, is that I teach you how to make the decision. I don't want you to trust me to make the decision. I don't want you to trust your chiropractor, your doctor, really anybody other than yourself, your own intuition, and your own gut feeling. And that gut focus is enormous. Okay. So, the reason I don't feel that we can live 100% supplement free is there's still some studies being done today, but the micronutrients and the vitamins, nutrients, everything that was in our soil back in the 1960s and 1970s, it's like 15 to 20% today that it was then. If you go back further than that, we're going to get to even a smaller percentage. So if we ask ourselves why are we here? Why in society are we seeing the asthma, the allergies, the decreased vitamin D, the insufficiency of vitamins, the insufficiency of absorption? We're going to talk about all that as we talk about gut health and our food triggers and supplementation and the testing. But the reason gets down to, honestly, our soil, okay? And the sprays, the chemicals, the toxins, it's all over the place. But you cannot go, and right now with COVID, like we're in this huge pandemic. And vitamin D and supplementation has become even more on our awareness radar. So it's hard to live supplement free and get all the nutrients that you need from plants and the vitamins and stuff from the soil. So that is where I stand, is somewhere in the middle. And hopefully that gives you an idea that you're going to have freedom, all right? Freedom in this understanding of a holistic journey to make decisions as to what's best for you. Again, I like to just empower you to be able to do that. So in addition to my parents and their lifestyle and how they equipped me to get to where I am right now, I want to thank them both for allowing me to really explore my interest in my dreams. And if my dad's watching this, he can just laugh because I had quite the journey of dreams and interest. I went to nursing school at UAB. Loved nursing school, loved the education in it, loved the classroom setting. Did not do well in the hospital setting. I get weak, my blood pressure drops under stress. I've learned now why through functional testing, like why I get so weak, why I black out so much. It's not just hypoglycemia. There's some underlying factors to that. But in nursing school, I did learn that the hospital is there to treat sick people. All right. And my goal is to enhance your life. All right. I would like to keep you from getting to that sick stage because it's a sick care process. After that, and after knowing that that was not my path, that was not my passion to work in the hospital and work with sick people, I loved education. As a child, I always talked about I wanted to be a teacher. I'm glad I didn't, because the classroom, I really love teaching adults, okay? But I love the kids too. Now, you're gonna hear in my journey that my journey was filled around taking care of my son. A lot of my clients are children and the parent, because I love working with homes. I love working with families. I love empowering families. But again, a lot of times that starts with the mom, at least mom and dad. Okay, so the guys that are on the phone, or on the call, on the phone. But so after that, I went to accounting school. I knew I wanted to be in business. And I knew I loved numbers. Like if I had been a teacher, I'd have been a math teacher. All right, so I went to accounting school, got my MBA, got my master's in project management so I could organize and work with projects. I did not know that would bring me back to the most important project ever, and that's the project of taking care of the human body. All right, so I do feel like I come to you with not only functional medicine knowledge, with not only nutrition knowledge, but the knowledge of caring for our body like it is the most important business decision, the most important project that you can focus on. All right, and being able to break that down into bite-sized pieces so you can manage that very well. Simplicity. I'm all about efficiency and simplicity. I do not like complicated processes. I do not want to make anything complicated for you. So again, keep dropping me comments below. What is going on with you right now? What intrigued you to be on here live with me? Have you invited your friends and family so you can speak the same language? I hope so. All right. So the other misconception that I want to just knock out right away is that around money and numbers when it comes to nutrition and functional medicine. So as an accountant, I know the numbers, all right? I've done the crunching. I know how much it costs to go to the doctor all the time for sick care, all right? I know how much it is in copays every month when you're being bounced from one specialist to another. You going to a pediatrician's office, an allergy office, a GI office, an immunology office, your autoimmune doctor, you're this, you're that, you're everything. The cost drives up, okay? I know you have insurance, but when you work with prevention care and preventing you from having to go there, I hope I can get you to a point where you're not relying on insurance. And I like to talk about this in terms of your car. We get insurance on our cars and we pay it every single month. But does that stop us from doing maintenance on our car? No. And does it keep you from, the goal is to not have to use the insurance. All right. So we're using prevention care in the same way. We do not want to wait until we get to a point of illness, flu, COVID, pneumonia, to go to the doctor and have to use that insurance. What can you do to prevent that from occurring and boost your immune system? Boost it today, okay? We can start very quick today. I'm going to give you some simple tips on how you can start boosting your immune system immediately so you're working on prevention care, not crisis care, all right? Crisis care is just like the ambulance drivers, the ambulance seekers. It's crazy. It's crazy. So drop that hand below. If you feel like you've done nothing but spent, like going doctor to doctor, trying to get answers, spending those co-pays. All right, give me that feedback so I know who's with me and what we're, if we're on the same page. I recall we went to Atlanta. We had been all over, to be honest. We've been all over Madison, Huntsville, got transferred to Birmingham, all over Children's Hospital there in Birmingham. And they're like, we recommend you either go to Atlanta or Chicago. So in making a decision, I went to Chicago. I did not take my child to Chicago, but we went to Atlanta first. And I had such high hopes. I mean, like we had been transferred all over, like I mentioned, but very high hopes of reaching answers and success. Went over there, got a hotel, got an early morning appointment because, of course, if you have to fast, like fasting on a drive from Madison to Atlanta is not fun. All right, so get over there, walk in the door, and we got the same answer that we had gotten from Madison 3 years prior, from Birmingham 2 years in a row, the same answers. And we're still paying co-pays, all right? So at some point, you got to put the brakes on. You gotta like say, okay, enough's enough. And you're spending money on all these things of not getting answers. So holistic care is really, really big. So why were we in Birmingham? What really sparked my interest in helping others? And it's kids. I love kids. I love adults too. But, when we're looking at our babies and we're looking at how far we've come, even from the time we were born, okay? We don't want our kids to get there, okay? Like, where are they going to be in 40 years? We don't want that. So my son was diagnosed with celiac disease after being told that we had 24 food sensitivities. And I want to tell you, when we were told we had 24 food sensitivities, there were people that told me how stupid the test was and how bad it was and how we needed to ignore it. And my allergist was telling me that those IgGs, and you'll understand IgGs when we talk about allergies, but my allergist was even telling us, ignore that. Okay, like they had done a skin prick test, 67 pricks on my child's skin. You should have seen it. You should have heard 67 cries. Okay, people, like I have a passion around what I'm doing because we've been through hell, really. Okay, so 67 pricks on a kid's back, and every single time it ignites tears, screaming, crying. And that test showed no food sensitivities, or no food allergies, I'm sorry. They're testing for allergies, none. But when we did a blood work, we had 24. We were told to ignore that. So we kept going, kept trying to get answers, kept trying to get that diagnosis. That's where our mind goes. And we got a celiac diagnosis, and I'm like, okay, great, we can remove gluten. Y'all, it did nothing. Nothing worked until we removed the 24 food sensitivities. Nothing, okay? Because his body was so full of inflammation from the food sensitivities. That inflammation and those inflamed cells, they store toxins and chemicals. They can break your system down. All right, there's a passion here because I watched a little one of mine go through it. But what I did not understand is while healing his body, I would heal every single person in my family, because what we were doing was healing our gut, healing our insides. My acne, and as you can see, my skin's pretty clear, but I'm not going to lie to you. I do have like one flare up, but it's because I hadn't had my hair done last week. Okay. I know when the toxins and chemicals, I know every single time I go get my hair done that around here and where this hits my face, I am possibly going, because of my skin's not used to that shampoo anymore. All right, so we're going to you're going to learn like how you can pull back the layers of the onion and look at what triggers your system. I also know that if I go to Mexican and eat cheese dip, that I'm not going to look good a couple days later. My skin's going to flare. So I know what those flares are. But looking at the underlying conditions that cause that inflammation in our body is so huge. So maybe it's not food reactions for you. Maybe it's hormones. Maybe it's thyroid. Maybe you think weight gain is what's causing all your other symptoms. But I'm here to tell you that often weight gain is the symptom of an underlying condition that is not being met, that is not being taken care of. All right, so I want to just give you those thought processes, give you those ideas around what may be holding you back and how things can look better for you. All right, who's here to look for a better way? I mean, come on, like hand raise, give me some emojis, give me some, heck yes. Like everybody wants a better way. So I want to tell you that in the process of caring for a family member or yourself, you can find yourself in a place of lost, confused, and depressed. I am not going to lie to you. Yes, that was me. Okay. When you have unanswered healthcare concerns, unanswered questions, it leaves you lost, confused, and depressed. And I talked about that a little bit earlier. All right, so you want to decrease the anxiety by increasing knowledge, increasing your body, like your information. All right, and Google is going to give you information overload. It is going to overwhelm you. It is going to drive you crazy. So stay active with me. Again, I have 5 days of education for you. I see some hand raises. Yes. I mean, when we talk about being lost, confused, and depressed, yes. Okay. It creates confusion and anxiety in our system. Bouncing from doctor to doctor, hearing that same old story. My energy crashed. I was extremely fatigued, and my hormones were completely out of whack. Now, I do believe in that the extreme fatigue and the hormones go hand in hand. And when I worked on my fatigue, I got my hormones in balance. And it can go both ways. But what happens in testing is we figure out where we need to hit that restart button. All right, that restart button is so key to taking care of your health care. I remember walking into an energy specialist with my son, and I told her, I said, one day I want to come back and let you work on me. And she just looked at me and she said, Mommy, you are under some chronic fatigue. We've got to work on you when you get a chance. That's what I want to encourage you with. There may be people in your home that need you, but you also have to take care of yourself. All right. Find out where you want to start, though. I would have never put myself above my child. Never. He was being declined from being able to go to daycare. He just looked sick all the time, had the dark circles under his eyes. Y'all, if you have the dark circles under your eyes, your kidneys are not filtering well. All right, we need to look at that. Like, what's not detoxing well? So I invested in alternative care after traveling from city to city and state to state for my family. Finding functional medicine was freedom for my family. It offered us hope for healing. All right, you've got this. I want to offer you that same hope and that same healing. In working with our functional medicine doctor, he kept telling me, he said, I have never had anyone understand nutrition the way you do, but you have to remember what I told you. We had 24 food sensitivities. We were diagnosed with celiac, and we were still not getting answers. So during that time, I had become the Google queen and the book reading queen around food and nutrition. So by the time we went to the functional medicine doctor, he just helped me understand. He really helped me understand cellular energy. All right, how to heal my child using all those tools that we had gained. But when he was diagnosed, I was definitely told that he was one of the healthiest individuals they had seen with that diagnosis. And we still get that today. We were in the ER probably 2 months ago, and the ER doc was like, I've never in my life seen a child with that diagnoses look this well. Usually they come and they look extremely sick. So y'all, that tells you what nutrition does. But that functional medicine doctor encouraged me to go back to school. So here I am with you. Okay, he said, we don't have anybody who understands and can explain the nutrition the way you do. And the reason I want to keep it simple for you, I want to keep it doable for you, is because I have done this with a child. I have spoken to a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, 6-year-old. He's 9 now. But I have spoken to him in a language that is understandable, because he cannot go to a birthday party and eat what everybody else is eating. He can eat gluten now and not trigger himself. You know, he can. Do we do that on a regular or a monthly basis? No. It's like once in a while. But the celiac diagnosis, I really think, was a diagnosis to help this mama heart. All right. I really don't think that was the initial diagnoses. It was just what was on the surface, what all the other triggers and inflammation had caused in his system. So we want to get down to what's causing the fire. We don't want to look at the surface of the fire and say what's going on up here. We want to get down here to that root issue and help you from that root energy. I was talking to a client yesterday, and it's just like I just told you, we want to jumpstart that process. The body is so miraculous that it can heal. And so we've taught her body how to produce its own acid again, because she was on acid blockers for so many years that it stopped processing, and we have to have acid to help with that digestive process. All right, so let's do this. All right, the gut, like the gut is the gateway to solving your chronic illness. Who here has stomach problems? All right, give me a comment. What are they? Is it pain? Is it bloating? Is it gas? Is it constipation? We think of all those stomach problems. Have you been diagnosed with do you have a gut diagnosis? Crohn's, colitis, infectious colitis, all these things, irritable bowel disease. Are you running to the bathroom after your meals? Let me know what's going on with you. How I can help you. How can I address that? Ulcerative colitis. Yes. Hey, Kristen, so glad you're with us. Those things they're after years and years of your body being under chronic stress and inflammation in that GI system. But some of the symptoms that come along with that are not things that we would think of as being related to our gut, like my acne. Okay. I had, not horrible acne where I was in and out of the dermatologist, but more so where it was just so frustrating. I hated it. I would hate bloating. It's all in our gut, like everything stemming from our gut, but even headaches, even that acne, and that lotions and potions and creams aren't going to cut it, guys. They're going to be a Band-Aid factor, and that's what you do not want. You do not want the Band-Aid factor. You want to get down into taking care of your body. You don't want, to be reliant on that medication constantly is so crippling. All right, your body can heal. I talked about the 24 food sensitivities. We redid his test just recently. We're down to 5. Oh, but let me tell you, we do have, through blood work, and this is where that gut chronic inflammation begins. I told you that we got 67 skin pricks, 67 cries. There was not one food that came back positive. Not one. But his blood work still to this day shows it's about 5 or 6. We just had it done last week, and I got the results back yesterday on Patient Portal. But I need to go back and look. Some have gotten better, and some have gotten worse. And I don't remember which ones. But corn. Okay, guys, corn is still to this day an IgE allergy. Now, these are the ones that your allergist will recommend. All right, but here's what's happening in our system that's not allowing us to get to the root cause before that ulcerative colitis is being diagnosed. The allergist on the skin is not showing up with IgE food allergies. But when we started doing blood work, and they won't do blood work until they're 4, it aggravates the stew out of me because I think we need to do this before we actually start giving immunizations that contain corn syrup, wheat, and all these things. Our eggs. My kid's allergic to eggs, and we were pumping him with immunology like vaccines that contain egg protein. That's not a good combination. But the blood work immediately came back, even with our immunologist. It came back with IgE allergies. It came back at the and functional medicine doctor. I mean, like, it's a gut reaction. All right, it was in his blood. It's not on the skin. He can sit at a table with somebody with peanuts. I know some kids cannot. You may be in that same position. All right, it may not be a touch factor. All right, it may not be something that's on the surface of the skin, but when it's ingested and it gets to the gut, it can still have that inflammatory response. All right, and that's where testing truly helps you understand what you do not need to be consuming in your diet, what's harming you and what's helping you. All right, so that's what I like to do. Most importantly, what is going to help you on this journey? What is going to help you heal that gut from that bottom factor, getting down to that root cause? So the other symptoms that are surrounding the bloating, the gas, the constipation, the fatigue. We've talked about not having energy and how important that is to us. Cough and congestion. Congestion was Tyler's key reaction. I still to this day, when he gets into something that even has cornstarch or corn syrup, which is in so many things, I immediately see the tip of his nose get red. His eyes start to kind of get that watery redness to them, and I'll pull his plate back and say, "Sorry, babe, we're not taking another bite of that," because it's in seasoning. They put cornstarch in seasoning as an anti-caking agent. It can hide, and that's where my allergist kept telling me. He said if he had an IgE reaction, you would know immediately. You would know what it was. You would know immediately what it was from. Well, he always got chronically congested after we ate, but with it being corn and egg, it was in everything. It didn't matter if we ate a muffin. It didn't matter if we ate bread. It didn't matter if we had breakfast. It was in everything. So even spices that we were putting on our chicken, like what my husband was using as a grill spice, their anti-caking agent is cornstarch. So perhaps that's you. When he would eat an egg, he would get a chronic migraine, scream, "Take my skull off." And it was just I'm crying, he's screaming, back to that anxiety and depression because we didn't have answers. Let me help you get answers. Perhaps it's the hormone imbalance. And yes, that stems from our food, because if we're not taking care of the toxins, the chemicals in our body, and the food that we're putting in our mouth, then it is affecting our endocrine system. It's affecting our hormones. It's affecting everything. If we're not sleeping, then our hormones are not balancing at night. Okay, so the high blood pressure, it also, food can be a low blood pressure issue. Like I said, I was a fainter. Definitely my food. All right, definitely my food. Diabetes and elevated cholesterol. If our bodies are just toxic with all these things that it does not need, you will have the cholesterol. I have a 72-year-old male in my program right now that I absolutely love and adore. If you're watching this, you know who you are. If you watch the replay, you know who you are. I just love talking about you. But at his 30-day check-in, his blood pressure was A-OK, and he had lost 15 pounds, I think 12 to 15. He was playing golf. Back to playing golf, back to having energy, walking the golf holes, not having to use the golf cart. That's at 30 days, guys. 30 days, blood pressure done. Cholesterol isn't usually that issue of the liver, though. It's because our liver is so clogged that the cholesterol is not going in and cleansing, and we're not getting the good cholesterol back. So it's like oil in a car. You're not going to like change your oil, put that down in the oil pan, and then give your body that oil, the old oil back. That's what happens when your liver's not working properly. We want to open up those liver detoxification pathways, and we're going to talk about that when we talk about how to detox properly. Even sadness and irritability, your mood, your depression, all of that, back to food. When I eat sugar, when I drink an alcoholic beverage that is filled with sugar, or maybe even not, it changes your mood. It changes the way you feel. You can wake up the next morning and you're bloated, and it was like, you know, just feel fluffy. And maybe fluffy is not, you know, but I love the word fluffy. You can feel fluffy sometimes, all right? But what's happening here is this is causing autoimmune conditions. It's causing our immune system, every time we do something to it that it does not want, it's causing that trigger. And when it flips and it starts to attack our body, that's when we're getting all these autoimmune conditions, the ulcerative colitis, the IBS, the Crohn's disease, the celiac. It's all autoimmune. Even diabetes is autoimmune. Okay, type 2, you know, your immune system was triggered. Sometimes that's the stress in our life, and that's why I'm going to talk about mindset and stress as we go through these 4 or 5 days and the next 4. But stress can be an enormous trigger. Like, what events in your life happened around that time? What dental fillings did you get? Are you still holding on to those dental fillings that could be causing metal toxicity in your body? And now every time you get an immunization or you eat something that has that metal in it, your immune system is being triggered. All right, because it's in overload. It's got too much. And that's the way we can think about it, is your bucket. All right, you've got this bucket inside of you. And it's just like with our relationships. All right, we can tolerate only so much. And you fill that bucket, and it explodes. Sometimes that happens in our relationship, even the relationship between husband and wife, or your best friend. Like, I love you and I can tolerate you, but today I'm about to explode on you because I've tolerated you for so long. That's how our body is. Think of your body, like, change your mindset and the way you're thinking about yourself and about your healing, about your health and your wellness. We want to like really think of our bodies when we go to the store and be like, okay, it is time to fill this cup with love and goodness. You know, not all the sugar. It happens when we're there buying the stuff on the shelf. Like, what kind of choices can we make that are different? So when we look at the gut, really, I want you to start thinking about like a spider web, all right? Interlocking everything together. Basically, our body's like this. Like, if you're looking at my gut, it's like this. Everything is stemming from our body. You've got a spider web effect going through. It's affecting all your body systems. And they're not disconnected. Like I said, when I started healing my son, I started healing our entire family. We had skin conditions, rashes that disappeared. My acne disappeared, unless, again, I get that toxin, that chemical, that food that it does not like. But now the important part of that is you recognize you know how to do better. You can change so it's not going down the pathway of explosion. All right, you do not want your body your cells to flip. All right, that toxic cell to flip cancer, guys, it's right there. We need to fully detoxify our body. And a great way to look at this, I love like looking at our body like it's a car. All right, open the hood, see what's inside, see how we can take care of it. When buying a car, we look at safety measures. All right, why did I buy a van when I had 5 kids at home? Because I'm driving 5 kids around and it can fill up, you know, with a capacity of 8. It had metal bars all the way around the side. All right, so safety measure. What kind of safety measures are you putting in your body? What are you doing on a day-to-day that's going to decrease your risk of chronic illness? This is how you need to look at your health and wellness. This is how you look at your preventative care, not sick care, preventative care. How can we decrease that risk? We don't want the risk to go. We don't want the risk of going kaput So like getting your body in a state of crisis and knocking it down. But you want to pay attention to the warning signs. All right, so what are those warning signs? Let me talk to you about that. So when you go running, or let's just say you have not ran, and I say of people on the live with us right now, or even watching the replay, how many of you have not ran but could go out and run a 10K tomorrow? Well, I can tell you that I am a runner and I like to run, but I don't like to run distances. Last time I ran a 10K, it took me about 2 weeks for my knees to feel normal. All right, that's a warning sign. All right, we want the warning signs. My body needed a break, it needed rest. Your body gives you warning signs. Just like your car with the check engine light, when that comes on, you cannot put masking tape over it. You're gonna laugh, but think about it. If that check engine light came on and you put masking tape over it and just kept driving, or the change oil light came on and you just kept driving. I think of the oil like I think of detoxification. There are times when we need a really, really, really good detoxification and just start new. All right, start over, start new. We want to get rid of the inflammation, the skin conditions, the aches and the pains that are giving us the warning signs before we reach chronic illness, and taking care of those. You do not want a Band-Aid of aspirin and Tylenol. All right, and a lot of times that's where we're running to, oh, let me just go grab this Band-Aid. Y'all, it doesn't work that way, okay? Because that's hurting your liver. It's doing more damage to your body. There's cornstarch in there. So if somebody's allergic to corn or gets, irritated, and you probably don't know. Y'all, I would have not guessed it had it not come out in blood work, because I'm telling you, corn's everywhere. Again, cornstarch. We hear of reasons to remove it, but there's more than that. Corn is so heavily processed and full of GMOs in America. There's just no good corn at all. Actually, that goes to the automobile industry, talking about cars. That's where the good corn goes. Isn't that interesting? So, but wellness care is, again, like buying car insurance. You take part in it, but we hope to never use it. So like we buy that insurance and we hope not to use that. So how are you taking care of your bodies and providing insurance over your life? Are you filling it with the good things, or are you taking too many risks? What are you going to the grocery store to buy? What kind of decisions are you making at that point before you as you bring things in and like put things on the shelf at your house? That is the gatekeeper scenario that I'm telling you about. But there's no debate over building health. All right, our world right now is so full of debate. Are you pro this? Are you pro that? What are you for? What are you not for? And there's no debate over building your health. The answers you get depend on the questions you ask. And this is, again, comes back to the education, why I want you here with me for the next 5 days. I want to equip you with the information that can allow you to ask good questions, good educated questions, questions that are going to give you the answers you need. I didn't have that when we first started. That's why we were going to the doctors and getting the same answers, because I either didn't have questions or I just thought they would know my son better than me. They don't. All right. Nobody knows you better than you. You're the one that is there to be the gatekeeper of you, your home. You need to be your own patient advocate. They're not going to put the puzzle pieces together. When we went to the immunologist didn't know like how to build on what my pediatrician had already done for us. He's starting from scratch. So you need the education to be able to say, I've done this and this and this and this and this, and this is what I'm curious about. This is where I want to go with my health. This is what I want to do with my wellness. When you have that information, these free workshops give you that information. So when you're empowered with that, you can come forward and get fast results. When we went to the functional medicine doctor the first time, y'all, we got fast results, really fast results, because I'm like this, this, and this. Now, I did hire somebody who could coach me through being able to ask those questions, being able to help me look at my son's all his medical paperwork because I was overwhelmed. Remember, I was fatigued, stressed, depressed, having anxiety over it. I couldn't look at the paperwork and make, like cross the T's and dot the I's. Couldn't do it. So that's why sometimes having that group effort is so key. But open dialogue, comment and let me know where your mind is. All right. What thoughts have triggered you so far? Have you had any aha moments? Are there things that you're putting in your mouth that you're looking at that are around your body that you think may be causing your body triggers? All right, causing you those factors to decrease your health and wellness. We want to get down to that root cause. Don't rely on the defense mechanisms only. Like if you're letting your body get to a chronic state and you're just coming at it with these defense mechanisms, then oh my goodness, okay? I have friends that get to that point and a surgical procedure can actually trigger autoimmune. An elective hysterectomy can trigger an autoimmune disease. And I hate to say that because so many people have already gone down that road. So many people have already had the gallbladder removed. My husband was on that path. He had gone for his pre-op. He came home from the pre-op and was telling me about the surgical procedure. And I looked at him and I said, please just give me 3 months. He was not on the same health journey that I was at that time. He was on the journey. I shouldn't say that. But his intent of healing was not at the same place mine was at the time. But I asked him, I said, please give me 3 months. In 3 months, you can have that thing taken out if you don't feel better. But we changed his diet. We increased and got a good targeted probiotic. If you're blindly taking a probiotic, I want to warn you, you can be feeding the wrong strains of bacteria if your body is already at a state of kind of illness, being broken down. A good general probiotic is for a healthy individual. It is not for someone suffering with GI issues, with gut issues. So that targeted probiotic can be key. So honestly, after 30 days, he was like, wow, significant change. He still has his gallbladder, but that gallbladder has a purpose in your body. What you've been told, if you've been told otherwise, I'm sorry, but I would say most people, especially I have several in my program with gallbladders out, and it's like, well, I thought having it taken out would help, but it didn't. So I'm still in this like chronic stage of suffering after they eat. And the reason is because your body can't digest things. The gallbladder and the liver are there to help filter our food, our toxins, our chemicals, everything that goes in our mouth before it gets into the small intestines. If that gallbladder is not there and it skips that process, then the things getting into your small intestines are not supposed to be there. So we've got to help that. We've got to make sure that the proper strains are of bacteria in our gut are being fed appropriately. We've got to make sure that things are breaking down, that digestion is working and taking place in the right area. All right, so not just taking place, not just occurring with the gas, the bloating, the inflammation, and all those things that it can cause. And with, the lining of our GI system is like a balloon. When it does have inflammation, and think about a balloon that your kids cannot blow up at a birthday party. All right, so you get these long, skinny balloons, think of it this, and your kid brings it to you and they're like, hey, can you blow this up? Because they're sitting there, they're like, and they can't get it to budge. All right, that's your intestines when you're a healthy human being. That's what God created, okay, was this like imperfect little body. And after they bring it to you and, you use your strength to blow up that balloon, as soon as it deflates, flies through the air, and they go pick it up, they can blow it up a little bit. All right, and that's your intestines. All right, so after it's blown up the first time, it deflates. The second time, it gets bigger, and it actually starts happening more rapidly. But what happens is in this cocoon, when it comes in and it has that inflammation, it gets these pockets, all right? And there's things flowing through those pockets at some point in time that aren't supposed to be there. So those pockets of your GI system are allowing these proteins, these toxins, these chemicals to come out into your body. They're affecting your cells. They're affecting your mood. They're affecting your energy. They're weighing you down. They're getting into the fat cells. They're causing that inflammation in the fat cells. Ooh, weight gain, water gain. So it happens. It starts with our GI system. All right. So when it blows up and it deflates and all those little pockets get in there, then our body is no longer clean. It's no longer can't keep the toxins, the chemicals, the food in the right places of our body. It starts leaking out into the bloodstream. We start getting negative reactions. All right. So that's why we need to take care of ourselves. Thank you, Alice. I hope this is helpful for many of you, because it is honestly such a freeing way to think of your body and to think of healing, to think of nutrition, to get back to that perfect state. All right, we were not created for illness. We were created for healing. And I just want to encourage you to really like gravitate toward that and know that that you were created for healing. All right, to wrap it up, I've been talking for a long time, but and it doesn't seem like that long, but the system that creates the symptom. All right, I want you to focus on the system and not the symptom. And focusing on that system are with choices. And I see somebody just mentioned Diet Coke. Absolutely not. That is a choice. And I will tell you that a lot of GI problems stimulate from Diet Coke. It's so full of artificial sweeteners, the dyes, the chemicals. It's full of cornstarch. Whether it's diet or not, there's tons of products in there that will get in and cause the body to break down. It is not a healthy choice. So the system of our body that creates the symptoms that are simple. I want you to think of that, okay? So the system that creates the symptoms are full of choices, lifestyle, and you. All right, you can start by making choices and lifestyle changes free of charge. All right, there's no charge to that. Movement and sunlight are completely free. You don't have to pay a dime for any of that. I encourage all my clients to wake up, get moving, go outside, get some sunlight, 20 minutes of sunlight, walk around, get a breath of fresh air. Look at the things outside that have been created around you, the green grass, the plants, even if it's just the wind. All right, sometimes those things can be so moving. When we go to the beach, it's such a spiritual experience. Regardless of your belief system, getting outside and getting sunlight is such a transforming experience. So everyone right now with the pandemic is paying very close attention to the immune system. But I want to tell you that I don't feel that it's time to go crazy with our thought processes around the immune system. However, I'm very thankful that people are gravitating in that way, because we already live in an epidemic of cancer and autoimmune diseases with rapid increasing numbers. There's also an epidemic of childhood illness that we live in right now, the autism, ADHD, asthma, and allergies. Just focusing on that, and like I mentioned, how you can improve the health and wellness of our children, our grandchildren, the years to come, starts now, guys, to have a better focus, to have a better understanding of how we can surround ourselves with nutritional choices, how you can make a difference. So choice and lifestyle are the only approach. You don't want to ignore those warning signs, and you don't want to keep putting band-aids over the symptoms and getting to the root cause. So I am going to end there just because I want to honor your time. But I do want to tell you that we will come back tomorrow, and I'm going to start out tomorrow by talking about one of the most profound breakthroughs of the 20th century. A lot of times people are like, oh, we've done such good work in science to get us to where we are today, to where we're free of, all this childhood illness. But I just mentioned to you that we're creating a new pandemic of childhood illness by not recognizing the toxins, the chemicals, the GMOs, the processed foods. So there have been some remarkable, profound breakthroughs of the 20th century. It's nothing you would ever imagine. Completely simple, and I'm going to start there tomorrow as we talk about getting into ideal weight and combating fad diets. I do want to tell you that just like today, it's going to touch on so many things that if you need to gain weight, again, ideal weight, okay, how to manage that and how to manage that stress-free. So I want to encourage everybody to come back, whether, if you're in your ideal weight and you're like, that's not really for me. Really, we're going to talk about the profound truths that I just mentioned. We're going to talk about how to keep your body to where if it does yo-yo 5 pounds through our monthly cycle, men and women, of just going through that it is a yo-yo. It's not on to 5, 10, 15, 20, and then we're like, oh my God. So, but being able to hold on to that ideal weight, we're going to talk about balancing blood sugar. We're going to talk about all these things that can really help, again, with your mood, your body, and getting you to a point of understanding that root significant cause, identifying that, and quickly being able to bounce back to have that truth and that reality of what's going on inside of you. But thank you for joining me for day 1. I loved it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for the comments and the questions. Thank you, Brenda, for that question on Diet Coke, but it is such a I didn't get pregnant until I stopped drinking diet sodas, actually. So let me tell you that. That's a long, so when we went and first started getting metal and toxicity, and I told you I was going to finish, but let me finish with this. When we went and had metal and toxicity levels drawn for my son to see what was causing his reactions, how we could get down to the root healing, he had aspartame toxicity. Okay, I want that to sink in for a second. He had aspartame toxicity, all right? For a child that had been sick and that I had been struggling so hard with on a healing journey, I can guarantee you he had never had aspartame. That came from me. That came from my umbilical cord. So as my son is sitting there suffering, as I'm spending all our time and all our money to heal him, that was hard. So Diet Coke hits a trigger button because I used to live on it. I used to live on diet soda, but I do recall, the November before I got pregnant with Claire in May, I had been trying for 7 years. I had a lady tell me that she said, you're not going to get pregnant until you stop drinking that Diet Coke. So if you're struggling with hormone issues, let that sink in too. Okay, so it is very, very toxic. It travels through you. It stays in you. It's hard. I encourage you to stop filling your body with those toxins and chemicals. I know it can be hard, and I know you're thinking, oh, it's just one Coke. But it really can create a lot of struggle down the road. So we had to go through aspartame detoxification on let's see how old he was at that point in time, probably about 4. So we had to go through aspartame detoxification, fun times, because his mom used to drink Coke, Diet Coke all the time. I wasn't one that was ever overweight. I've probably been my same size, give or take 15 pounds, since I was in 6th grade. But, I wanted to maintain my weight, and I want to teach you how to do that healthy, in a healthy way, not having to reach for those artificial sweeteners that are going to give you, a false sense of gratification, and satisfying you, but we can satisfy your body with proper health and nutrition. All right, I will see you back here tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Thank you again for hanging in there, and have a great day.